Welcome, everyone, to the divisional rounds of the NFL playoffs. The Vikings meet the 49ers, Seahawks have a matchup with the Packers, Titans face the Ravens, and the Texans are at the Chiefs. All year, I pick the brains of sports anchors and experts all over the country for their takes on the week's hottest NFL games. Now, with 4 games this week, I need the help of Baltimore sports anchor and expert Rick Ritter. How's it going over there in Baltimore, Rick?
Katie, playoff football, we're ready to go and excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Ready to go, and I'm sure you are very knowledgeable on all things AFC right now. The Chiefs, let's start with them. They host the Houston Texans this week. Who plays on?
Katie, death, taxes, Andy Reid off the bye. Do not give this guy time to prepare. Kansas City is ready to go. Let's start with Houston, though. If Houston plays anything like they did last week against the Bills, Kansas City is going to mollywop them, to say the least. Deshaun Watson sacked 7 times in that game. I expect the Kansas City pass rush to get after them. Now, look, Watson's a gamer. We know he makes those Michael Jordan-like plays when it matters most. But Kansas City, just too much firepower, too much time off here to prepare. Expect Tyreek Hill to have a big game. I know they'll get Kelsey involved early. The X factor for me in this one, though, is going to be Will Fuller. When Fuller plays for the Texans, that entire offense looks different. When he's out of that game, it allows teams to hone in on DeAndre Hopkins. If Fuller plays, I think it'll be closer than people think. But regardless, I expect Kansas City to win this game and meet Baltimore in the AFC Championship, which we'll talk about in a little bit.
Yeah, we will talk about Baltimore a little bit towards the end of this video. But over on the NFC side first, the Minnesota Vikings meet the San Francisco 49ers. Any surprises for these two?
You know, I wanted to talk about a surprise, and a lot of it had to do with Adam Thielen and how healthy he is, or how healthy he was, and how great he looked last week. Then we have a report that came out of practice that Thielen got stitches in a cut that he sustained at practice. He is now officially questionable for this weekend's game. When Thielen is healthy, that entire offense gets going. It was good to see him back in the rhythm last week. It opens everything up for Diggs. It opens everything up for Rudolph. It allows Cook to get going more with the run game, even out of the backfield. With him iffy now, I'm leaning towards the 49ers, who obviously are the favorite in this one. The matchup to watch is going to be the Niners offensive line versus that Vikings defensive front with Everson Griffin and Hunter, maybe the best defensive front in the game. They got after Drew Brees last week. I expect them to do it again this week, going up against that 49ers offensive line with McGlinchey and Joe Staley. Still, I think too much firepower for San Francisco. They've had a lot of time to prepare for this game as well, coming off some rest, and they'll have some fresh legs for sure. I expect San Francisco to pull this one out.
Up next, the Seahawks facing the Packers in their divisional round matchup. Who wins this one?
Look, I don't even think Seattle should be here. Carson Wentz plays that game in Philadelphia last week and finishes. I think it's Philadelphia in this situation. But, hey, it is Seattle. And, look, let's give them kudos, okay? Give them props. They've played well on the road this year. That's what they do. A little disconcern with Tyler Lockett and his lack of involvement in this offense over the past couple of weeks. He was really involved to start the season. Obviously, he got injured there for a couple of weeks and has fell off since. But the emergence of DK Metcalf, maybe the best rookie wide receiver in the game right now, has really led them or propelled them to new heights offensively. Still, it's going to take a lot more than that. They have not won at Lambeau Field since 1999. It's going to be a tough task for sure. Green Bay, let's talk about Davante Adams and how he's coming into himself maybe at the best time. You know, Adams battled a lot of injuries this year. Really wasn't the same wide receiver. We were expecting a huge year from him. Now he's finally starting to get healthy. Obviously had that turf toe. I think the bye helped him a lot. If him and Rodgers connect early, I think they're going to do big things. I mean, Adams, pound for pound, certainly one of the best wide receivers in the league. Can run any route on the tree. He's going to create a headache for Seattle. I expect Green Bay to get this done at home.
And finally, our last matchup of the week. The road to the Super Bowl runs through Baltimore, the 1 seed in the AFC. Let's talk about the Ravens and the Titans this week. Who do you think wins this matchup, and what are the factors playing into that?
I mean, look, Titans shocked the world. There's no doubt about it. Not many people saw that coming outside of Nashville, maybe. Derrick Henry, just an absolute beast in the run game. Getting him more involved in the pass game now as well with screens, the most involvement that he's had in his career out of the pass game in terms of running screens. He did a lot of his damage last week against the Patriots on the outside. They bulked him up on the inside. They kept him contained there for the most part, but he gashed them on those outside. Now, Baltimore, they got the run defense to stop him, that's for sure, with Pearson Williams on the inside. Let's jump over to the Ravens offense now. We could talk about Lamar Jackson all day long. There's no doubt about it. Such a special player. Maybe another player like him never in the NFL before. The one thing that Lamar is so good at, too, the RPO, reading the shoulder of that defensive end. If that defensive end drops his shoulder, Lamar's taking off if he's crashing. he's contained mode, they're going to hand the ball off to Ingram. They're going to hand the ball off to Edwards. They're going to create nightmares for Tennessee. How can you pick against the Ravens right now? You can't, especially at home. Again, the road to the Super Bowl in the AFC goes through M&T Bank Stadium. I expect the Ravens to pull this one out, and then we'll get the game of the year the following week, Chiefs versus Ravens in the AFC Championship.
Love to hear it. Thank you so much, Rick, for all your time today and for your analysis and your expertise on all 4 divisional matchups. We'll see how all 4 of these games pan out this Saturday and this Sunday. You can catch all the action. Who plays on? Who's going to be facing off in the AFC Championship next week and then the NFC Championship after that? We'll see who will be in the Super Bowl at the beginning of February. I'm Katie Johnston for CBS Local Sports.